coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today we're going to take a look at Codenames by CGE, Czech Games Edition. So in looking at the report card for Codenames, I give the number of players an A+. And I give it an A+ because it plays from 2 to 8 players. And with a little spoiler alert, the cost is relatively inexpensive, so buying multiple copies makes it super easy, and so accommodating this to larger numbers is really easy. And really there's nothing to say that you have to limit yourself to 8 players. I think that's just kind of more the suggested maximum, because you're going to be playing on 2 teams. That would mean teams of 4, but what if you had a team of 5 and 4, a team of 6, 2 teams of 6, or whatever? It really doesn't matter, because of the way the game is played. Is just, you know, teams are working together to try, one person's trying to get the rest of the team to guess the cards. I guess more players, there's going to be more discussion, more voices to be heard, more people shouting to be heard. It can get a little crazier, but I mean, really there's nothing to stop it. So I think it's fantastic for that. You can get lots of people in on this and having a lot of fun. For learning, I'm going to give the game a B+. And I give it a B+ because I like the fact that the way it's using cards, and the students have to think of associations and things, the ways to connect the cards, because you're trying to, as if I'm the one who's working with my team to try to get them to guess certain clues on the board, I need to think of words, associations between these things. How can I connect groups of words together? Because I want my team to guess as many cards as possible in every turn. So I need to think of how can I group these together in order to help them to do that. So when I see a word like star, star could mean like star in the sky, star could mean like a movie star, or if I'm talking about geometry, just a simple shape. So there's lots of different ways I can think of these things, and it gets the students' brains thinking about those kinds of word associations, patterns, and connections, and you know, just different. It's just a really good way to do that. Plus, then from the other side of the team, they have to look at those words and think about all the words and their meanings, and you know, can help to develop and build vocabulary. Because if they see a word that they're not wholly familiar with, now if it's something that I feel that they shouldn't know, like I know the you know, words in there like Shakespeare, for example, then I would just remove that from the game. But if it's a word that they're just not familiar with, or maybe they're just unsure of how to read, like say it was the word millionaire, and they're just having trouble reading it, well then they have to know how to read that word, and we can help them to read the word and understand the word, and then they're going to be reading it over and over again as they're trying to figure out and make associations with each of my clues as they come. So it's just a really great way to develop language and reading skills, critical thinking, all kinds of good things happening in here. So that's why I give it the B+. For fun, I'm going to give this game an A+. Every time I've seen this game being played, everybody is, and I'm talking about adults here, laughing, hollering, just cheering. It's always the noisiest game in any meetup I've ever been at. But it's just so widely enjoyed. It's a lot of fun. It's a very simple game, and for that reason, I think it's a great addition to a classroom. Just don't play it during class time. For time, I'm going to give the game an A. The game is super easy to set up and clean up because it's just a few cards on the table, and it plays in about 15 minutes. Very fast game, and one which you can get multiple plays of in if you're doing it during like maybe an indoor recess, or if they're doing it before or after school as an activity, during board game club, or if you're playing at home as you just want a quick game. This is a great one to turn to. For cost, I'm going to give this game an A. I think for a $20 game, it runs about $20 to $25. For the amount of people that you can play in each play of this game, for how quick it plays, so you're going to get multiple plays of this game in every session that you play it, if you feel so inclined, and how much fun that you're having playing, which means you're going to be more likely to want to keep playing it. It just all around makes this game a fantastic value for its money. And I just want to say too that Codenames has been so widely popular that they've actually made several different spin-offs on the Codenames game in different versions. So I have Codenames Pictures, which is all pictures. So instead of with words, you're doing it with pictures. I prefer for a classroom setting the one with the words, for the obvious sake of the reading. The next one is like Codenames Duet, which is just for 2 people. Codenames Disney, which is a family edition, which is maybe a good one for a kid, and even Codenames Marvel if you're a big superhero fan. So there's all kinds of different code names out there to suit whatever your particular needs might be. So this would be a standard setup for a game of Codenames. The game is set up within a 5x5 array of cards, and these are just laid out randomly. And then you have your cards here, which show the red and blue players' teams when they're successfully finding the cards that they want, the innocent bystanders, who nobody wants, and then the assassin, who nobody really wants, because that means if you get the assassin, you've automatically lost the game. In the game, you're going to have two teams of players. On one side, you're going to have the players who are guessing the cards here, and the number of players on those teams can vary greatly. But on the other side of the table is going to be the spy masters, and there can only be one spy master per team. The spy master is going to look at the cards, this card here, to show which cards they are trying to get their teams to guess. So when playing a game of this, what you're going to be doing as the clue masters, the spy masters, you're going to be trying to make your players guess the cards that you want them to guess based on a one-word clue and a number. So the clue tells gives the clue as to which cards it might be. The number says how many cards I am thinking about when I say this. So you're trying to get them to think of as many as you can. So now in this one, the blue player is going to go first because they have more spaces to cover. They have 9 spaces. The red only has 8. So the blue player, looking at their tiles that they're trying to get here, so they have to get, Grace, Heart, Whale, Table, Car, Bridge, Star, Moon, and Iron. Now what's important to note too is that if the players guess the blue, they're going to get the points for the blue, which is what I want. If they guess red, well, my blue players are now giving points to the red players, which I really don't want. If they get the innocent bystanders, then they have to stop immediately. The turn ends. No further consequence other than that. But should they guess the assassin, and the assassin is the black one here, the X in the middle, that would be the word drill. If they ever guess the word drill, we lose no matter, or the team that guesses it loses no matter how many points they have. So in looking around at the words here, I guess, remembering my things, I can say one word, and I can say one number. So I might say space 2. My players are going to look around, they're going to look through here and see what I might mean by space 2. So they look at the different words and try to make associations. And what they might eventually come to the conclusion of is that I'm thinking outer space, and so they would touch 1. They touch 1 card, so star. Stars are in space, and so I can put that down here. Now, I use star here to mean space, but there's nothing to say that star couldn't mean like a movie star or something like that. So depending on what cards you have and how you might use those words to mean different things in different contexts, based on how you need them, you're trying to connect them to other things on the board. So then they're looking around, and the only other thing that matches in their minds to space, and mine, would be moon, and so I put another blue one down. So now it would go to the red player's turn. So the red player looks at their thing, tries to think of what cards gets their players to guess, and they might say something like milkshake 2. Milkshake 2. So as the players look around, they're looking and they see, okay, well, chocolate milkshake, that makes sense. They put their finger there. Yes. And they don't see anything else that really kind of matches in their mind milkshake. What would be a milkshake? Go with the milkshake. So they're going to just leave it there. They don't necessarily, you can opt to not guess. They can, because again, guessing can be dangerous if you guess the wrong one. They have no clue where the assassin is here. So they may be, giving us a point. They may be getting an innocent bystander, or worst case scenario, they could be guessing the assassin. And the game continues back and forth until either the blue player gets all their tiles covered, or the red player gets all their tiles covered, or somebody gets the dreaded assassin. That's the basic rules of how you play Codenames. So as a final note, you might just want to look in the rulebook for the full rules on how to pick your cards, what kind of clues the clue givers can give. There's certain things you can and cannot say, so I'm not going to get into all that for this video, but just look at the rules. But this gives you a quick general sense of how Codenames is played. Very simple, very fun, and I highly recommend it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you have any questions about Codenames or anything else I'm doing on the channel, please leave me a message in the comment section below. If you have any ideas for games you might like to see on the channel or any topics you might like me to discuss, again, please leave me a message in the comment section below. But until next time, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with